Creative Living, utilizing today's technology with the best of the past to bring you innovative ideas and up-to-date information for creative lifestyles in today's active world. With your host, Sheryl Borden.
Welcome to this first show in our 40th anniversary series of Creative Living. We're going to learn to make placemats, show some easy table centerpieces, and discuss what new sergers can do. One of my guests today is designer and seamstress Patty Dunn, who will show how to weave fabric strips to make a quilted piece look. She calls this technique line dancing. Patty's the owner of All Done Designs and lives in Corpus Christi, Texas. My next guest is Patty Wade, and she'll present a look at the basic elements of design that help to set the foundation for building centerpieces with a wow factor. Patty's from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and owns Wade & Associates, an event planning business. And my first guest today is Carrie Forrest, and she represents Bernina Sewing Company. Carrie's going to talk about sergers. She'll explain what they can do, how to select one, and then she'll demonstrate some of the basic stitches. She lives in Clovis, New Mexico. Carrie, I'm so glad you came today, and I know you carry sergers and various brands or various styles of sewing machines in your business, but there's still a lot of people who don't know what a serger is.
There are. And sometimes they're called an overlocker, so that's another term that we hear. Basically, a sewing machine, a serger is unlike a sewing machine. It's going to sew your seam, it trims your seam and overcast or finishes it all in one step and much faster than a sewing machine does.
And they've been around a long time, but I guess they started in the commercial industry. But what should a person, I know you have 4 cones of thread. You said they come from 2 to 5?
They do, and it depends on what kind of stitch you're wanting the machine to make. 2-thread is a lot of time a decorative stitch or a chain stitch. A 5-thread is going more into that commercial line where it's going to do your chain stitch and an overcast stitch.
So just like if someone came in and wanted to buy a sewing machine, you would ask them what they plan to do with it primarily.
Right. You want to know what kind of sewing you're going to do on the serger, and again, their experience level with sewing. You don't want to get a very advanced serger if you're a beginner sewer.
And this little pillow is great because it shows so many samples of what all can be done.
This pillow was done all on the serger. We do have some overcast seams or flat lock seams, and then we also have done the piecing is actually done on the serger. We have gathered it on the serger, and then we have also done the little edge here on the edge of the ruffle that's called a rolled hem. Even my zipper on the back is put in with the serger. So you can do a lot of jobs with the serger. And
I think they're worth it if you can afford to get one just for the rolled hem effect.
I love rolled hem. Our other sample is the serger quilt here with ruffles done, rolled hem done on the edge of the ruffles. Beautiful effect on that.
And this would not have the same effect if we had to turn it under 1/4 of an inch and then turn it again and edge stitch. It's just different.
And so much easier to do it on the serger.
And you have miles of fabric on here. It would have taken a long time. Let's go ahead and show. I think the fact that it sews and then trims the stitch, the seam is wonderful.
Right. So what I'm going to point out, we have 4 threads. 2 of them are going to the needles, and then we have 2 that are actually forming loops on the fabric, and we call them an upper looper and a lower looper. We also have a knife here, and there's 2. One is going to be moving and one is stationary. So it is trimming the fabric and sewing it and overcasting in one step. And it's so much faster than our sewing machine can do it. We would be having to go to another step on the sewing machine, and now we have a nice finished seam.
Well, and you know, let's show on a little ready to wear. This is exactly what you did. It's just as beautiful a seam.
Right. If a customer doesn't know what a serger is, they can turn their t-shirt and take a look. We have a seam here that's actually done with a 3-thread overcast. It still has a little bit of give to it because it's done with 3 threads. The other thing we look is the hem. On the outside, it looks like it's done with 2 straight stitches. On the inside, kind of a little zigzag look. That one is actually a cover stitch, and not all sergers will do a cover stitch, so that's something the consumer wants to look at if they want to have this effect. They want to have a machine that either is a cover stitch machine on its own or one that will convert and do both.
Oh, okay. And again, because this is a lightweight knit, it eliminates so much bulk, because otherwise you'd have to turn it twice and then stitch it, and the whole shape of the little t-shirt would be distorted.
Right, and you get some wave on there, which the serger and what we call differential feed can get rid of the wave.
Okay. You said it does an overlock, a cover stitch, a chain stitch, and what else?
The rolled hem.
Oh, the rolled,
And
the
that's
one
what
that we
have
like.
on the edge of the pillow here. You can also gather, and that is done with differential feed, which I mentioned.
Is that how this ruffle was done?
Right. Normally you have one set of feed dogs on a sewing machine. Our serger has 2 feed dogs. And we can make the front feed dog pull more fabric in than the back one. So it's actually pushing the fabric in and making it gather. I actually can show that for you real quickly here.
Okay.
We're gonna just get it under here. My differential's a knob here on the side, and I'm gonna turn that differential up. And we can start seeing it, just a little bit of shearing in here. Great for an A-line skirt when you're trying to ease in that finish. Just barely serge the bottom with a little bit of differential feed, and that extra fullness will feed in. I'm gonna tighten my upper, or my 2 needle tensions a little bit, and we start seeing a little bit more gather.
Oh,
We keep tightening and get more gather. So that is how we can get here on the edge of the pillow, so we can do, basically this whole pillow is made on the serger.
that's really amazing. What about the zipper? What stitch is that?
That is just basically a 3-thread overlock, and you do have an exposed zipper with this one.
Very professional looking when you use a
Thank you.
serger, don't you think?
It is. When I got my serger, I wanted to remake anything in my closet because they look so professional and clean inside.
Now, what about budget-wise? Is it priced per thread, like the 2-thread versus 5-thread? Is that how it goes up? Or
Typically, a 5-thread is more expensive because it has more features, and that's what we start looking at, is the features of the machines. Sometimes the size of it is a factor there also.
Well, they've really come a long way with them. I have an older serger, but again, it does the things that I like it for. Like, I love to make placemats, and so of course that rolled hem is just perfect for that. But I really never thought about being able to do everything on a serger.
Yeah, it's a really versatile machine that sometimes we neglect and just put it to the side, and all we're using it for is for finishing those edges.
And
so you can do a lot more with it.
And I think it's because you and I were talking, we were both in 4-H, and at least back then, the judges checked the inside, your seams, and I still like to have pretty finishes on the inside of my garments. I don't know why.
I am the same way. That competition sewing really affects the way I look at things.
I do too. Well, thank you very much, Carrie.
Thank you.
Patty, thank you so much for coming. It's always so much fun for me when you come because I learn new things every time. You are an event planner, and you have to use probably so many skills that we don't even think of in planning and timing and all. But I have to say, I think Centerpieces, in my opinion, would be one of the first things that you would establish when you're planning a special event.
Exactly right, Cheryl. Actually, when I look at Centerpieces, no matter what event, whether it's for a wedding or a conference or whatever it may be, you have to really keep in mind that you have people sitting around a table, and the focal point is the center.
That's right.
And so use that to your advantage. Centerpieces are like jewelry. I mean, and that's you can punch them up, you can use them for information, highlight sponsors and all, but today we're going to show you some of those.
And some are very simple that I still wouldn't have thought of, and some are very elaborate that we'll end with. But let's start with this. I thought it was a microphone when I first looked at it.
It looks like it. Nowadays we have solar lights that are so inexpensive, and you're always having to watch the budget for your client. And solar lights, this particular one, you can't really see it because we've got the studio lights on. But this one, if it's out during the day, if you're having an event and the lights are down low, it looks like cracked crystal.
Ooh, I
And
guess
so
it
take
would.
advantage of them, make your bases like that, and build your
And then
centerpiece
build.
around it.
Oh, great idea. And mason jars.
Yes,
Some of us
that's-
have closets full of those.
And it's very popular nowadays, and again, it's pretty expensive. And what you do, in this case right here, the base of that is simply for the planters to drain into.
Oh,
so they're very inexpensive.
Yeah.
Use whatever you have as far as a base for it, and in this case, we're using black beans.
I saw that. I thought they were
Yeah.
marbles, but they're just beans.
You can use marbles too, but
Yeah.
you know, fit them within your color scheme. And these flowers, I simply buy a bush of flowers at one of the craft stores, and you cut them up and you stick them in there. And so again, use your colors for your theme.
And you just have the dried grass or dried, I don't know what that's
Yes.
called, but
That
holds them
that's
kinda-
Spanish moss, and
Spanish
Spanish
moss.
moss is a really good filler. You can also use something like the shredded paper, and that always looks really pretty in there. So use it to your advantage.
And I noticed good old burlap. We couldn't do without
yeah.
it, could we?
Burlap and ball jars are the complement to each other, and everyone wants them now with the shabby chic weddings and everything. And so burlap is fairly inexpensive, and this is just one example that you can use it as a runner, and you add raffia. And in this case, in this ball jar right here, we just simply glued some edging on there, and we have a battery light inside.
Just those short strings of lights.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
And they look similar to this. You can buy them in white, or you can buy them in green, or whatever color. And in this case, it's white, obviously, so we don't see it. But the colors are real bright, and you can use LEDs, or you can use more of the yellow ones instead of the blue lights.
Oh, and then these lanterns really look pretty on patios or for outdoor
do.
events, don't they?
And one of the things, when you buy them, if you're going to use them as a centerpiece, they have a metal piece that is on the bottom, and so they'll shift and they won't stand straight. So as a result, use some kind of filler underneath them to balance them. And in the case there, the light that I used is simply one of these lights where you just tap
just
them and it's an
press.
LED light.
Oh,
And those are actually used for under cupboards and everything.
Yes.
But these are fairly inexpensive, and you usually buy them in lots of 3.
Oh,
And
okay.
so as the lights are down, you've got a beautiful lantern in whatever color.
And how long will they last? Do you have any idea?
It really depends on some of these lights, like for example, this one right here
Yeah.
with the battery, it's up to 120 hours.
Oh, wow. That's
So
plenty of time.
they're fairly good. And if you use like little light, here's some of the components here that you can use in building your centerpieces.
And we probably have
So,
these in different
yes.
boxes and bags and things
Yes.
somewhere around the house.
We do, and people give us gifts. And for example, in the gifts, you're going to be finding the fillers and all
Shredded,
that. I never throw any of that away.
I bet you don't either,
You
because
know,
you can reuse it.
I use it, and see, you can see where I'll take Ziploc bags and I'll save it in Ziploc bags and everything. So when you end up doing the centerpieces, whether it's a centerpiece for a conference where you're going to have maybe 15 to 20 tables, rounds of 10, or whether you just want to do an accent centerpiece, you can use
Maybe on a
it like
buffet
that.
table, and that's
Yes.
the only one.
Exactly. But these components here, and I was going to point out that the pipe cleaners are the most inexpensive, and pipe cleaners are something everyone should purchase. As you can see,
They come in
you can-
every color in the
you can
world
buy them-
anymore.
Yes, and see, you can even buy them in greenery. So it'll fit within your greenery. But what it does is it helps you to secure certain parts of it.
Oh, yeah, because they bend, and you can
Yes.
hold some of those flowers maybe in a way they aren't wanting to
That's
bend.
exactly right. You have to secure them so that they're not falling and you lose that beautiful centerpiece. So
Let's take a look at one that's that you prepared.
this was for a head table at a wedding that I did. And see, when the lights went down, we have these little LED lights inside of them. And they're clear strings. And this was for the head table. So she wanted it big and bold, so we did. And some of the elements that we used to work it were these little green spindle things. And you just stick them in there, and it adds a little bit more height. And then you can also, underneath it, to make it look even more bigger and broader, is you can purchase these things. They're like doilies.
Oh,
And they're paper doilies, very inexpensive, and they come very large too. So you can buy them in all different colors, shapes and all, and you put it underneath there, and it makes it bigger. So if you
Wow.
have a big table, you need a big centerpiece of
course.
perspective.
And you can work in her colors or
Yes.
whatever you want.
And you can tell her colors were purple.
Of course, I thought maybe it was.
Yes. And this
Oh,
one
just
right here
love
was
this.
a centerpiece that we did for a shower.
Oh,
And so what we did is we incorporated these children's balloons in it. And see, you wouldn't normally use this as a centerpiece in the middle of a table with people around
because
it
it's so big.
Yeah, it's big
Cover
and
up
it would,
everybody.
you can't see people, but you can take it down and you can still use it. And we put little seeds on it, flowers. and
Shower,
again, we put some of the spindles in there. And in this case, this was used a couple of weeks ago. We put Easter eggs in the base of it.
Cute idea. You could
Yeah.
change that and use poinsettias if it were around the Christmas time.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can use these for anything. It's finding just something inexpensive, or maybe in the bargain where it has a chip or something, use it. People
Yeah,
don't know, and
nobody
you
would
incorporate
notice.
it in there, and you have this beautiful centerpiece, and it's easy and inexpensive.
Well, Patty, you always have such great ideas. I'm sure your head's just going with ideas for other centerpieces right now, but you do
Yeah.
such a nice job. Thank you very much for bringing these and inspiring us.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Patty, thank you so much for coming today, and I'm really looking forward to learning this technique that you call line dancing. Now, where did you come up with that?
Well, I did, I got strips that were already pre-cut, and they come in a package. So all of them are colored in different ways, but they blend. And so I thought, how can you use these in lots of different ways, because they're out there, and I'm not a quilter per se. And so I thought, well, why don't I just try some things with the strips the easy way.
The easy way. I'm like you, I'm
And-
not a quilter, but I love the technique.
Right, and so I
A little
just
placemat.
Yes, this is weaving them, and then you don't even have to worry about the raw edge. You just lay them down, and then you come back and you stitch them.
With a decorative stitch
With-
of your choice.
Yes, with decorative stitch, and it lays down the edges, and you don't have to worry about it. So that was a
pretty.
placemat I did, and then I'm really big on doing purses. I enjoy doing purses,
Cute.
and this was just a square. The same thing as a placemat, but it was a square, and I just folded it and
I see.
did some little, I did that first, and then I folded it up and made it into a purse.
Wow, how cute. Purse
Thank
making
you.
so popular because they're so expensive to buy.
Right.
And yet you can make one for every season, every outfit if you want to.
Right, and it's just a small purse, so you don't bog down with a bunch of stuff in your purse.
Right. And I love the handle you made on this.
Oh,
it's
thanks.
so soft.
Yeah, that's just a piece of cord in a strip, and
Okay.
gathered
well,
up a little bit.
Well, let's learn how to do this
So
quilting
I'm gonna-
technique that we can do.
Right. Well, this is the way you would go ahead and do your strips.
You just lay them out the
Right.
length you want.
And I like to work on a interfacing with the fusible side up, so that when I get them laid down, then I can fuse it down and they'll stay.
And it won't, yeah, you're right, it won't
Right.
move around. That's
Yeah.
a good
So
tip.
when you're weaving, you just take every other one, and I think most people have done weaving, and then you take the next color. And the more colors that you can take, the better. Not to repeat
So
the
you're going to
same
start
ones.
up fairly close?
You leave about a half an
Half
inch.
an inch, okay.
Yes, and then you have about a half an inch on either side if you have
So
that.
you lay these then
And
back
right,
down?
you lay this section down, and then you pull the next
Oh, the
section up.
opposite.
So this is how I know it's the next one, because it would be the one that is showing. And then the next one goes
And like
across.
you mentioned, these all come in a set, so some of us may have trouble, you know, does that look good together, or is that
Right.
too busy, or whatever?
Right.
I see.
And then you just want to make sure it comes all the way across, and then you just keep weaving it, and you snug them up so that there's no space in
touching.
between. And as soon as you get them all lined up, then you just press it. So if you
That's
work
why
on
you
a
have the
pin board,
interfacing.
it helps.
Well, yeah.
And when you pin them, you just pin the top so that you can work with those and flip them up.
Gosh, it's already looking pretty.
Right, and it's neat because it's all different textures. I can't go to the store and figure out that many strips and that many colors.
Me either.
Yeah, and so,
This one's been pressed.
right,
but
this
it's
one's
still
been pressed.
raw
and
edges. That's amazing.
Right, it's still raw edges, and because I left a half
Half
an
an
inch, then it catches on the end too, so it stays down.
And you already have your batting and...
Right, then I put a batting and then I put a backing on
Oh,
it.
the backing.
Right, and so then, we'll just flip that up. So then, after I get that all stitched, because I want to do a decorative stitch, and if you'll notice how heavy that looks, I actually used 2 threads. They weren't even exact same color.
No.
In one needle.
And you could use 2 different colors if you wanted to.
You sure could. You get a little interest that way. You could actually come in and do different colors along with this, or solid, whatever.
And you
do the
use
same
different
color.
stitches. I see that now.
Right.
This is kind of a, what do they call that, a feather stitch maybe? And
Yes.
I don't know what this one's called.
That's just a
Pretty.
utility stitch,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
And what I usually do is lengthen my stitch. So I take the widest width and the longest length that I can get with the stitch. And sometimes...
And yet it does hold those raw edges.
Right.
I was amazed you didn't have to turn those under.
Yeah, as long as they're wide enough, the stitch is wide enough, it'll cover it.
And the batting just gives it such a puffy feel.
Yeah, so if you haven't played with your stitches on the machine, you have that option. So then after you get done stitching, then you're going to trim this up to the squares.
Oh, okay.
So you're
Square it
trimming that extra ½ inch off, so that
okay.
you don't have that now. And then when I was messing with this, I realized that it was kind of neat to put a little flange in between, so that that when I brought the outside around, it was a little bit of a definition to the corner. So I love this tape that pulls off, and it's just
like double
temporary,
stick.
right? And it will wash away. And that way, this will keep it in place, and I don't have to mess around with
pins.
and
I
all
love
of that. And so then when I get that laid out,
lay
then
this
I'm
back
going
over here.
to put my back on. And so you can see I made my back. You really need to check and make sure that you're exactly 2 inches from the edge.
2 inch.
So you want to go around and make sure it's 2 inches wider. And then I love to use the iron to keep my creases in, and also to keep my marks.
Oh, okay.
Because
so you went ahead and pressed this all the way down.
So I pressed this all the way down, and what I just did was I pressed it exactly in to meet the raw edge. And so then when I get ready to do this corner, which I'm going to just, I think it wants to go this way, then I'm going to fold this corner up,
Okay.
and then I'm going to fold the point right to the point.
This is like a mitered
Exactly,
corner.
yes. And so then I'm going to press real good with the
Press it.
iron. And then when I pull this back, I'll have that crease. Then I'm going to mark the crease. Then I'm going to turn this backwards. And then I'm going to meet those two.
Oh,
And then when you trim it off, and then you
Stitch
bring that
across.
around, and you poke it out, and it's a perfect little end.
How nice.
Yes,
And is
point.
this, yes, this is how you did on the placemat.
And this placemat actually was not batting, so this was just a canvas underneath. And so if you don't want
can
that
do either way
puffy
you
feel,
want.
this will wash good. Just wash your canvas first, and you'll enjoy having it either
And
way.
then you can wash these after use then.
Yes, and one package of strips, which is usually 42, will make 6 of these.
Wow.
So you've got a whole set.
And so they're already the size. I
already
guess they're
pre-cut.
designed for quilters.
Yes, they're pre-cut, and and you just work with them already cut.
I think I can do quilting if this is what it is.
It's a lot of fun.
It looks like it. Thank you so much, Patty.
You're welcome.
I hope you enjoyed the show today. Next time on Creative Living, we'll learn to make floral arrangements. We'll meet a fashion designer who does hand knitting by machine. And finally, we'll learn how to create bronzed columns in our home. One of my next guests is a floral designer, and she's going to show how to use 2 different techniques when working with horsetail, which is a type of bamboo. And the final product looks like an advanced floral arrangement. Ever wonder how designers actually knit their couture designs? We'll meet such a designer who will give us an understanding of how small knitwear manufacturers work. He'll also show some glamorous finished garments he's made which show the versatility of his knitwear. And finally, another guest will show how to use paint on columns or other accessories to make them coordinate with hardware and metal fixtures, which are being shown in today's new home construction. I hope you'll plan to join me next time for Creative Living.
We are very pleased to offer a special booklet that accompanies this series of Creative Living. We are celebrating our 40th year on PBS. This booklet is titled the 40th Anniversary Series, and it features a wonderful collection of ideas and information, and it's available free of charge on our website. Posted as a PDF file, you can simply download the entire booklet or just the segments you're most interested in. For your copy of this commemorative booklet, go to our website at kenw.org and then click on Creative Living. Scroll down to the booklet section and you can click on this booklet or on any of the other booklets we have available online. We would like to invite you to sign up for our free e-newsletter too. Go to kenw.org and click on the Sign Up Now button and input your email address. That's all there is to it. We would also like to ask you to become a fan of Creative Living on Facebook. Go to facebook.com and in the search window type in Creative Living with Sheryl Borden. Thanks so much. We look forward to hearing from you.